Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. The ability to awaken a devil fruit is something that we've seen a few times throughout the series of One Piece, but little's been explained about it, and so far we've only seen the awaken of Zoan and Paramecia fruits, with a considerably vague explanation. But from what we've seen during our story of One Piece, we can kind of deduce about how the awakening of a devil fruit works. The only fruits that we haven't seen an awakening of are the Logia-style fruits, but there may be the possibility that we've already seen the effect of awakened Logias. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the awakening of a devil fruit, what powers it can give the user, and the possible characters that have awakened Logias that may have already demonstrated their power in our story. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like or even consider subscribing. Maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out and motivates us to make more content. And if you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or your favorite with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, devil fruit powers can in rare cases achieve an awakening, which significantly increases the user's abilities. According to Kaido, an awakening occurs when the mind and body of the user of a devil fruit achieve a synchronicity with their fruit, where they can act together in total harmony. When the power of a devil fruit is awakened, this increases the abilities that we've seen and allow a significantly greater power to be used. The user gets a more refined control and maybe even new abilities that would not be otherwise possible unless they had awakened it. And as we can see, the effects of the awakening depend on the type of devil fruit the user possesses. However, once one achieves awakening, it still takes time to fully master all of the new powers acquired. And if they aren't fully mastered, the user could still use the powers, but they seriously deplete the user's stamina in a more significant way. For Paramecia type devil fruits, the awakening allows the user to use their devil fruit at a new level of strength, and in different ways than they originally could. For example, Doflamingo and Law and Kid possess awakened Paramecias and have demonstrated some amazing new abilities. An awakened Paramecia allows the user to spread their power beyond their own body and transform or change the properties of the materials around them to match the nature of their fruit's power. And it also allows them to manipulate the transformed material in any way they wish. This transformation effect also seems to be able to be spread over a very wide area, as demonstrated during Doflamingo's fight with Luffy. After awakening the Ito Ito no Mi, Doflamingo can extend his abilities to create ropes, transmuting the ground and buildings into large amount of strings that he can further manipulate without having to touch them. Katakuri also was seen affecting the environment with his Mochi Mochi no Mi during his battle with Luffy, causing the walls of the mirror world to behave like a flexible mochi and even becoming edible as mochi. But with that said, the ability to transform and manipulate foreign objects remotely is not all awakened devil fruits possess, with some of the abilities presenting unique peculiarities, though the general idea of property alteration is still there. After awakening the Jiki Jiki no Mi, Eustace Kid is able to magnetize things other than his own body, even other living things, causing them to strongly attract or repel and be buried under mountains of metal. But he still requires physical contact with his target beforehand to be able to control his magnetism. Similarly, Trafalgar Law's Ope Ope no Mi awakening allows him to alter the properties of foreign objects, where he's able to use his sword and apply his room ability directly to the blade. But the process of applying it is still done manually. Furthermore, both Kid and Law hinted that their awakenings take a great toll on their bodies due to the high amount of energy needed to do these moves, turning these techniques into last resorts designed to finish off opponents. It's unknown whether this applies to every awakening or is just a peculiarity of theirs. But moreover, in addition to the great environmental reach, awakenings can even provide entirely new abilities to their users. For example, Kid can apply reverse magnetic polarities to different non-metallic objects to make them strongly attract to each other, completely bypassing the need to manipulate the metal, which is of course the fruit's main application. Guild Tesoro's Goru Goru no Mi awakening allows him to create a complex sensory network within the gold that he's touched, allowing him to sense every movement connected with his gold. We've also seen instances where Zoan types can be awakened as well, but an awakened Zoan gains much more strength, speed, and durability than those in their unawakened state. In addition to the boost in strength, this also includes a faster recovery rate, which works involuntarily even when when the user is unconscious. But there's a drawback to this, because the innate nature of the respective fruit beast will consume the user, causing them to become beasts with limited thinking, and they lose their human mind over the course of this awakening. We saw this feature in the awakened Zoan users of Impel Down in the Guards. The fruit users show no signs of complex thought, apparently acting on instinct and power, and are always in a form resembling their full animal form, but with just a couple of human attributes. It's also not known whether they'll ever be able to return to their original form after this awakening, or whether these new forms and mentalities are permanent, causing the person to cease to be who they were before. Unlike ordinary Zoans though, Luffy's awakened mythical Zoan Devil Fruit granted him the same enhancements as the others, as well as expanding his rubbery powers while still being able to show conscious thought. Although his mental state did seem to be altered slightly, especially with the constant laughter, and this might be a result of the particular nature of his Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. But be that as it may, it was still revealed that he has the same weaknesses as awakened Paramecia users such as Law and Kid, who weren't able to use their awakened powers and suffered extreme exhaustion if overused. Now, as we said at the top of our video, we so far have not seen any awakened Logia users, or they've never been described as awakened, but it's very likely that Akainu possesses the awakened form of the Magu Magu no Mi, and through his fruit, the user is able to create, control, and transform into magma at will. In battle, Akainu demonstrates great control with this powerful fruit, being able to use it perfectly during combat, allowing him to take on powerful opponents like Whitebeard. Now, the Magu Magu no Mi is incredibly powerful just in its base form, and it's often been referred to as the most powerful offensive devil fruit that there is, especially in terms of attack, because the main strength of this fruit is that it allows the user to become, control, and produce magma to attack their opponents. During the battle in Marineford, we saw some of Akainu's feats using this fruit. However, the one that happened in Punk Hazard against Aokiji demonstrates that both of these two characters' fruits are very likely to be awakened. In the battle between Aokiji and Akainu, both managed to transform half of the island of Punk Hazard into an environment of the fruit that they possessed, making one side of the island icy and the other side like a volcano, making the climate of this island unique even among the amazing diversity of islands we've seen in the world of One Piece. It has been speculated that the Magu Magu no Mi fruit has the most intense heat among all the devil fruits that use any type of heat to battle their enemies with, because as we saw, this magma fruit was more powerful than Ivy and was able to overcome Ivy's flames. Besides the fact that the intense heat can vaporize an iceberg instantly and boil the seawater that it falls into, the power of this going on for a 10-day battle on Punk Hazard was strong enough to permanently change the climate of half the island into a blazing inferno. The other benefit of the Logia fruit is that it can allow a physical attack such as punches or cuts to pass right through the user unless they're imbued with armament hockey, as this technique is able to nullify the intangibility of a Logia fruit. However, because of the element that this fruit is, if someone tried to hit the user with their own body or even their sword, they'd end up being severely burned or injured because anything that touched this lava would melt after coming in contact with Akainu. As I said, the Magu Magu no Mi has one of the highest offensive powers among all the devil fruits, and its strength is so powerful that it can take on the likes of Emporio Ivankov and Jinbei with minimal effort. Aside from the standard weaknesses that any devil fruit has, the powers of this fruit didn't even seem to be weak against anything. In fact, the only things that the Magu Magu no Mi couldn't burn were the flames produced by Marco's mythical Zoan fruit, Vista's words, Shank's sword, and even Whitebeard's Bicento. But these weapons again were in the hands of literal hockey masters, so this might have still been a special case. Also, despite having abilities that naturally are vulnerable to the power of the fruit, Aokiji was able to cause Akainu serious injury during their 10-day battle. Other ways in which the user could be injured might include the user touching a sea stone or being caught by surprise. And again, like any other Logia devil fruit, armament hockey tends to ignore their intangibility. However, Akainu has shown some degree of resistance against hockey-powered attacks, such as Marco and Vista, because they failed to pass right through his body's elementality. It's so far, only Whitebeard was ever managed to injure him using hockey, and of course his Goro Goro no Mi. But again, we're talking about the strongest man in the world fighting against the most offensive Logia devil fruit. Another thing that Akainu has going for him is that he's shown, at least so far, that he really has no weaknesses from awakening his devil fruit, which means that his fruit may be awakened and in its perfect state, allowing Akainu to utilize the full potential just like Doflamingo did in his battle against Luffy on Dressrosa. Thus far, Akainu has only been seen using his power during the Battle of Marineford, so it's not not possible to know the full extent of his power with his awakening. I mean, his fight against Aokiji was an amazing demonstration of this power, but we never did get to see how this fight went, only the aftermath that followed. But with this little bit of evidence that's been shown, it can clearly confirm the idea that Akainu may indeed have awakened his devil fruit, allowing him to further modify the climate around him. And it could even go so far as to allow him to create volcanoes or even increase the temperature of the air around it, being one of the first Logia fruit users that's been awakened, but just not yet confirmed. But with all that said, my friends, we'd love to know what you think about it now. Do you think that Akainu and Aokiji's fruit are awakened? And also, when do you think we might get to see Akainu's full potential? I mean, we do know that there is a lot of unfinished business between him and Luffy, and there have been a lot of different ideas out in the community saying that he may be one of the final battles that Luffy has to face before bringing an end to our final saga. Let us know what you think in the comments below. So as we bring our video for the day to a close, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching all the way up to the very end. Make sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I hope to see you all in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.